We do have a music expert office. It's actually called Music Expert Ukraine. Happy to be one of the co-founders. Actually, we operate as an NGO, so we don't have a government support. However, our aim is still to support the emerging Ukrainian artists, to help them spread the word about their existence. So we actively cooperate with showcase festivals. We do some capacity building projects, international exchange programs, and many more. Another music company that I work with is called Soundbuzz, and we did a study about Ukrainian music industry. That was actually the first study of a music sector ever held in Eastern Europe. And that was quite an experience. It's actually available, and we're here to support, to consult, and provide our thoughts and feelings about everything that's happening. Sometimes either our partners, our business partners, or foreign acts actually approaching us to consult them and provide the feedback, like if there is a chance to promote their music in Ukraine, or what would be the first steps. So we can connect the dots, we can introduce somebody to the Ukrainian industry stakeholders, but other than that, we are not in charge of organizing concerts or doing proper PR. Yes, you can definitely earn money from the music. The question is it going to be sufficient enough to keep the music as the main source of income? And the tricky part is you need to have a very, very strong community before you will actually make music as your full-time job. Very different consumption habits and diversify their sources of income. So some DIY artists are now opening Patreon accounts. More mainstream artists are trying to collaborate with brands more. So it really depends. For the music genres that are popular in Ukraine, it's really hard to tell, because we like celebrating diversity, and really the music scene in Ukraine is very, very diverse, from psychedelic rock up to rap, hip-hop, jazz, very strong classical music scene. But I think that rap and hip-hop is getting bigger and bigger and bigger in Ukraine, so we definitely have quite a niche for this kind of music. But all in all, I think everybody will find something of their own. We have quite big electronic music festivals actually in Ukraine, so this scene is also quite important, I think. Foreign acts actually approach us with this kind of question. That's why we created a music industry database at musicexpertukraine.com, which is available absolutely for free, and you can find all of the key promoters, labels, festivals, media, and many, many more. So in case you're interested in your first tour, or maybe festival or concert, all in all, feel free to check it out. You probably already know that it's really hard to get the Ukrainian to go to your concert, especially if you are a no-name. So participating in a festival is a very good approach, very good start. Another way to do that is to cooperate with a local artist who can bring local scene and draw attention to your music. So it can be a warm-up or something like that. Third option is to have a good story to tell. It can be connected to any kind of social activities, cultural background, something immersive, interesting, and relevant, something that media would like to talk about. Another thing is that Ukraine is actually a very big country. So the moment you will plan your first tour, you will probably hit around 5 key cities. That would be Kiev, Lviv, Kharkiv, Odessa, and Dnipro. and they're spread all over the country. So you will see the country as it is. It is quite big. We have like around 45 million of people. But yeah, prepare yourself. It's gonna be quite a journey. It takes almost like full day of traveling before you will get to another city. That's how big it is. The answer is yes, the act can get a fee. It's either will be fixed or a percentage from the tickets. When it comes to the grant support, I know that some countries have pretty strong embassies in Ukraine, so either the promoter or the artist can approach the embassy and ask for the support. And also the embassies have a cultural program each year, so if you're willing to plan your international activities in advance, you can also contact them. It's not easy to approach Ukrainian listener. It's not easy to cut somebody's attention, but I think that's fair enough for pretty much any country. We're definitely not the US that has a huge competition on the market. That's not a matter of the market and its speed of the development. It's rather a matter of the listeners. When we're talking about our Western neighbors, like Poland or Hungary or Slovakia, actually, I don't think that we have like strong representation of these countries in Ukraine, and I doubt that any of the Ukrainian listeners will know a thing about their music from these countries, which is also really sad because there are a lot of amazing acts out there from Central Europe, from Eastern Europe, but for some reason we don't have this strong connection. It's very vague and raw. And I think that for acts from these countries, it's quite tricky to catch the attention of the Ukrainian listener, but it is doable. There are definitely some concert agencies who are booking foreign acts, and I think it makes sense to keep it on a several tiers in a way. We definitely have the highest tier who are taking care of the world-class artists. They are usually working with the help of block booking. So we have a set of concerts happening here and there, and Ukraine is also included. And this kind of concert is supported by the local concert agency. Now, moving up next on a mid-tier and lower tier, we have smaller concert agencies or independent promoters who are either cooperating with a venue or are crazy enough or in love enough with some emerging acts to cooperate with. So if you find a concert agency, for example, in the database that we provide, make sure to check the references, and I think you will get the look and feel quite quickly, and you'll figure out whether it's worth connecting them or not. And we have a little bit different situation when it comes to labels. I don't think Ukrainian labels are working actively with foreign acts. Maybe the only exception would be when it comes to EDM scene, but that's like a whole different universe. But when we're talking about underground indie labels, nah, they're mainly focused around Ukrainian acts, and they're also providing some management support here and there. We don't have printed media. We have some online music media. Just a few, to be honest, but they're really, really big, and some of them are quite influential. For example, the major ones would be Sluch and Lirum. Quite a lot of music channels that highlight some emerging acts or new music, new albums, things like that. So that can be also a very specific but an interesting way to promote your music. In a way, it resembles the approach of pitching your music to playlist pluggers or like playlist curators. So think of Telegram channel in a way, kind of resembling approach. When it comes to radios, yes, definitely we have some niche specific radios, like some of them are focused on rock, jazz, EDM, easy listening, but obviously the majority of them are still focused around mainstream pop music. We also have music quotes, so around 35% of all songs you hear on the radio are supposed to be played in Ukrainian. However, there's definitely still place and time for songs in English or Russian. Formally, there's a place to sing in other languages, but English would be probably the best. Actually, also have some online radios, and they are quite popular and interesting. My favorite one is Aristocrats FM. Favorite of mine is Radio Skovoroda. So check those out. They're also open to be recommended and pitched by you potentially. But you can also approach radios independently. When it comes to other ways to promote your music, obviously social media is huge. Probably the biggest ones in Ukraine would be Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok is getting bigger actually. Yeah, check it out. Don't hesitate to register and dance to it.